All right, we're doing it again. Welcome back to Accepting Fear 365. Before we get into it, I wanted to talk about prevention and priming and what that means to me and my experience with exposure and response prevention therapy. I recently participated in some programming that talked about prevention, points of stress. When we talk about the points of stress and the reactionary piece, that can be the riding the wave, the floating through it, the letting it wash over you, the doing nothing. It also can relate to distress tolerance, changing the narrative, reframing your thoughts. So for me, some of my mantras are, this is a trick, I'm not in any danger, this reaction doesn't serve me anymore, I'm safe, this is temporary. Those are types of things that I will say to myself. But when we talk about the preventative or the priming piece, I think there are all these things that we can do to increase the likelihood that we're going to have a successful exposure. So I'm talking about things like knowing your limits. So when I first read The Anxious Truth by Drew Lancelota, he had, or it might have been a podcast, but he had talked about how you're going to jump into this exposure. That doesn't mean you're going to hop on a plane and go to Europe. It means you're going to start small in your surrounding, build up your momentum, become successful, do little exposures, and then gradually build up to the big ones. There's Paige Pradko is another person that I follow, and she talks about how you actually want to be variable with your exposures. Some days they're easy, some days they're harder, sometimes they're farther, sometimes they're closer. And when you look at behavior analysis, it shows that when things are put on a variable schedule, it usually strengthens the behavior, could strengthen the ability to tolerate and resist being reactive or having a reaction. Figure out what works for you. And then also, I'm talking about sleep, nutrition, hydration, exercise, stretching, meditation, breaking things down into smaller chunks. Those are things that are going to help any human be more consistent, be more successful. If your body is more well taken care of, if you're hydrated, if you're eating nutritious foods, if you're taking time to rest, avoiding stressful situations, working through those, doing your therapies, those are just gonna help you be a more regulated person, whether it's your stress level, your nervous system, depending on what diagnoses you're struggling with or dealing with or working through. Last part about priming and preventative, take your meds. I'm not talking about popping benzos, or if you have ADHD, which causes you to be more impulsive, if you have depression or other mental health issues, take your meds, do the thing. Taking care of your body is a big part of being successful. Enough avoiding. Let's get into it. Girl, balance. Just wanna be myself. We had a little pit stop. The anxiety is definitely hitting me a lot harder today. I'm just gonna be gentle with myself, understanding. I also rarely listen to music while I'm driving. I'm just trying to play some old 90s alternative, kind of my jam when I was a kid. So I think it's, that's like a normal thing that folks do. They listen to music when they drive. So trying to do that. This husky forever has his head out a window. So it's broken down, so bowling alley, check. Candy shop, check. Next point is Honey Farms. It's roughly a 10-minute drive from the candy store to Honey Farms. Hey, stop whining. You can't have the window open the whole ride. I know. Lost my train of thought. Sank into We made it to Honey Farms. I was really nervous in the first leg of this ride, but was actually surprised when I saw the exit pop up, and I did it. I decided to leave my house today. I stayed committed to the plan. I drove to checkpoint 1 and 2, and I made it here to Honey Farms. I did it. I did the exposure. I was successful. I'm proud of myself.